thing rolling. Hi, I'm Phil Anderson. I'm responsible for Hasbro Studios International Distribution. So if you're not seeing our awesome Transformers shows on air all over the world, it's my fault. Okay, so come see me afterwards. Anyway, I would like to introduce you to this Transformers panel. Right here I have Brian Leonard. He is our Exec Director at Hasbro Studios, and today he's our tech nerd. Next to him, you will know Jeff Prime. Next to Brian, we have Jeff Klein. He's the executive producer on Transformers Prime. And Jeff wanted me to say in my British accent, keep calm and carry on. Next to Jeff, we have Dwayne Capizzi. Dwayne's the Dwayne, we have Dave Hartman, Supervising Director of Transformers Prime. Next to Dave, we have Jerry Gigoin. Jerry's the Senior Director of Transformers Global Marketing. And Jerry has the biggest shout out so far. However, we have one more person to introduce. My good friend. My Iron China. Some of you might know what that means. It is Mike Vogel, the VP of Development at Hasbro Studios. And Mike's, I don't know who you are back there, but I love you. Mike's going to be moderating the panel, so I'm handing it over to Mike. You go, guys. Thanks.
My accent is not nearly as pretty as his. So hi, everybody. Let's talk about some Transformers. So a few years ago, we were here, and most of you were probably here too, and I think we showed about 30 seconds of CG animation of Bumblebee flying off a bridge, transforming, and punching a Decepticon in the face. And that was all we had, and that was it. And you guys were like, please show us more. And now you guys have been with us for almost 3 whole seasons, and we've showed you plenty. So first, let's all just give these guys a big round of applause. Awesome Emmy Award-winning Transformers Prime. Multiple Emmy Award-winning Transformers. So before we start talking about a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about today, I just kind of wanted to throw out to you guys, you know, what's it like now as opposed to then? I mean, we all kind of came in, Hasbro Studios started, we're going to do a brand new Transformers, you guys kind of got thrown in the deep end, you got to get it done super fast, and we set out to tell 3 seasons of a story that was a complete arc story that had a beginning, middle, and end, and we actually made it there. So why don't you talk about that a little bit and your reflections, if you will.
Well, probably the biggest surprise, and it shouldn't have been after a number of years of doing this, is that we were as much in the deep end in season 3 as we had been in season 1. And part of that was just because early on it was asked if we could move up these first 4 episodes of season 3 by about 3 months, which is a huge difference when you're doing a production like this. And we got an overseas partner in Polygon. We finally got approval to use some new characters that we were waiting on. We had to kind of retrofit them, get back in, which ended up actually working out fantastically. And quite honestly, you know, we always kind of figured we'd get 3 seasons, we get 65 episodes, we'd finish our story, but it actually, it's like sad when you're wrapping it up. You're sort of like, oh, I want to live with these guys for another year or 2 before I retire. But we wanted to really try to make sure that you know, whatever we did, we gave you guys the experience you deserved for sticking with us for these 3 years. So hopefully we have. And really, we won't say it at the end, thank you guys so much for being as supportive of this as you have been from the beginning, which was amazing. So thank you, thank you.
Dwayne.
I think you did a tremendous job. Reflect. You know, it's been fabulous. Thank you. 63 episodes. Yeah, we are airing our penultimate episode tomorrow. So exciting things. Stay tuned for the thrilling conclusion. And
That was great, Dwayne.
Trust me, I'm just warming up.
That's why I'm writing team, an entire team of guys.
I didn't know we were ending. No, but actually, really haven't had time to reflect on it. We're still in kind of our editing stage for this, the end of the project.
And when you're in the middle of
It's
it,
actually really sad for me. I haven't reflected on it until now.
There's all kinds of time.
Yeah, it really
Negative.
is. Yeah, from episode 1 to now, what episode? We're working on like 64, 63 or something like that, 50 something, I don't know. I mean, it just feels like it was yesterday. You know, it really is just one day it's gone by. And, man,
it's actually been 4 years. We started.
yeah, really, it is. I've lost a lot of childhood memories making things right.
Well, why don't we talk a little bit about season 3 and unleashing the beast? Where did that come from? I mean, where did the idea come from for that? How did it work in? Did you always plan on diving into Predacons in season 3, or was that something that happened along the way?
We knew we were going to dive into something big for season 3. It took a while to figure out. There were some other things we considered dropped, and really it was a united effort where we all decided, it doesn't get much bigger than bringing in the beasts, so to speak. And well, you've seen how we did it to the storyline, and we wanted to, as with much else in Transformers Prime, wanted to make sure we gave the beasts a interesting mythology, an interesting backstory, and took some creative license and sort of dovetailing it into the version of the world we created. But we think tying in with the notion that Earth is in many ways a sort of sister planet to Cybertron. I think the notion of why the Predacons are here, that they're part of Earth's ancient history, I think that was interesting.
How was the design?
Well, that was a little different, using the word beast, we didn't want to get totally into the beast wars, beast machines. I feel like Wayne said, going into this mythology, we went into this kind of mythology with Griffin-esque, almost, Earth's mythology, different things, whether Greek or whatever mythology we pulled from. We tried to put a bit of that into the show, so there's a reason why those things have always been here. Yeah, into the design of it. So,
It was pretty complicated. The breaking was pretty complicated.
yeah, doing a robot into a vehicle, at least you kind of know what a fender looks like. Now, it's actually hard to have full range of where you could go and where you can put parts, what turns into a claw, what turns into this. It actually gives a lot more freedom, but in doing so, I think you're going to see some of the most complicated transformations never seen in Transformers, where it's just like thousands of pieces, and it's pretty freaking cool. So.
Again, that's off to our Japanese partner, Polygon, for how tremendously, yeah.
Who's the play that dropped?
Early on, they actually built origami because they were trying to figure out where the creature would actually joint and how it would move. And we'd send drawings back and forth, but sometimes we actually just
Built paper origami.
and figured out how it's going to work. It's incredibly elaborate.
I think Hasbro should sell that. Jerry, can we get origami Transformers?
Would you guys like mine?
I love it.
Would that be something?
Yes, we would buy that. So Jerry, I have a question for you. So with these guys having worked on the series, and with the way they've sort of taken classic Transformers lore and mythology and kind of reworked some things and kind of added new things to the lore, how does that affect the brand on the wider level? Like whether it be product or other things, like what's the relationship been like, and how has that worked with season 3 of Beast Hunters?
How often a day do you want to kill us?
Or you guys really? It's great to work on. I think the product that a lot of you know from Generation 1 or Beast Wars, some of the classic historical characters that are out there. What's great is you see those influences in the show from the characters. Plus, you're seeing new characters or reinventions, reimagination of a character like Predaking, having that kind of reimagination of a character. So it's great to not only do we have the historical kind of the legacy over the last 30 years, but you also see how it's influencing the show and new content, new creation of characters and going forward. So it's a lot of fun because it gives the brand a lot of opportunities. We love making more and more toys of all the new characters and then give them to the world. So it's fun.
I do just want to say that, sort of out of everyone in Rhode Island, obviously the partnership has been fantastic. Jerry's Boy has maybe been our biggest supporter from the very beginning, and very publicly, so seriously, thank you very much.
So with that, I think we have a little teaser clip from our friends at the Hub for the finale that's going to be airing next week. So why don't we look at that real quick? A.V. Bryant.
This will be our last stand. Friday, it's a battle. Attack! That will change the Transformers universe. Prepare to join the All-Spark forever. No! Transformers Prime Beast Hunters. All new Friday at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Hub Network.
So that looks awesome, a lot of cool stuff. We felt like that didn't quite give you all of the awesome that was going to be in the finale. And there's one other little thing that we wanted to throw in there. You might have heard about this, but wanted to show you something else really quick that's going to be happening in our season finale. So lights back down, please.
Oh my god.
Hey, Raph, you can tear yourself away from your laptop for 2 seconds. Put yourself up here so we can get to Cybertron already.
Wait, who's that?
B?
So that's something. So why don't we talk about that? So obviously, Bumblebee is not beeping there. Beep, bop, boop. So why did we decide to do that? And for Jerry, what does that mean for Bumblebee moving forward in the big wide Transformers universe?
Well, when we started, we actually were trying to kind of key off the movie. A lot of the audience is familiar with the movies more than some of the previous TV shows. So that's why we didn't have when we speak. Why we didn't have when we speak. But we knew that at some point over the course of our series, we wanted to actually give him a voice. And so it was a matter of when. And we kind of, at the beginning of season 2, like, now the time, no, it still feels too early. He's still, his relationship with Raph was such that what really bonded them was that Raph could understand him and nobody else could. So we wanted to delay it. And then we pretty early on when we started reading season 3, figured out exactly where we wanted to put the introduction of the voice.
The real answer is we're very last minute over here. No, not true, not true. We actually wanted to put it in the most compelling place possible, and finale seemed to be it because the runner in the series has been that Bumblebee is a scout learning to be on this road to becoming a warrior, and then we hit in the opening 4-parter this season in a exchange with Smokescreen, Bumblebee and Smokescreen. Bumblebee actually wanted to wait, until in the hope that one day they could return home and be Deadly Warrior, properly in the ceremony. So we'll see how that unfolds.
Yeah, and I think from a brand, everyone remembers, Bumblebee from G1. It's, spoken G1, and I think it's very exciting to see that Bumblebee now has his voice. He's speaking, and obviously gives great opportunity for some toy. So stick around the panel after this. We're going to go through all the toy products and brand news, and we'll show you a talking Bumblebee that will be coming out later this year. So it gives us, opens up a whole new opportunity for us, and I just love hearing Bumblebee speak.
Voiced by the great Will Crudup.
Yes,
in
it
case
is.
you were wondering.
So we ended Transformers Prime. We had this great season finale, and we were all sitting around, and we said, you know what? There's still a little bit more story we want to tell. What can we do? And we decided we were going to make a big, awesome Transformers Prime movie to wrap up all of our loose ends and make things awesome and amazing. You watch the second to last episode tomorrow, and you watch the last episode next week, coming this fall, you will get to watch Predacons Rising. One of the things that we heard from you guys a lot, not that we look at the message boards all the time, but sometimes we might peruse them. I say it late at night. But one of the things we heard a lot was, Predaking is awesome, we'd really love to see some more Predacons. So that was one of the things we said, you know what, that should be part of the movie. There's a lot of other things that are part of the movie that we'll talk about a little bit in a minute, but why don't we show a quick clip? Yeah.
Movement. 2 contacts at point 84. Approach with caution. My name is Ultra Magnus. Are you Autobot or Decepticon? Neither. Predacons.
Wait a minute.
Just so understands, you truly are the first people to see any of that. In fact, the audio that you heard on that last clip, Dave just did in his office on a computer about 24 hours ago. So, really, I think even most of the Hasbro people haven't seen that. So, looks cool.
So, I know that at the beginning of Transformers Prime, we had Terracons. I know at the end of Transformers Prime, we had Predacons. Do my eyes deceive me? Or was that possibly a combination of both?
They're hyping it. Dave Hartman loves zombies. That's all you need to know.
They never will. Well, they did.
And we've got the governor here, so he's looking out for zombies. Thanks, buddy. So why don't we talk a little bit about the story as far as you can tell without getting in trouble with me from what I told you couldn't say.
Gotcha. Well, let's see. 30 seconds or less. It's been a big season 3 so far.
Nobody said 30 seconds or less.
Yeah, no, but it's so fun to sort of the rich Shakespeare and anyway, because Transformers Prime is just about that epic. Let's see. We destroyed the Autobot base at the end of the previous season. The Autobots were on the run. We had Megatron almost take reign in Jasper and try to take reign in the world with Darkmount. We destroyed Darkmount. The Autobots came back together. Smokescreen showed a new level of maturity and let everybody understand. Came to realize that it's not always just about him. And we had Optimus get rebuilt, reborn, reimagined in a terrific new Optimus, what we call internally the Optimus 2.0 design.
How many people thought we were actually going to kill him? Anybody? Good. That was the idea. Good.
Suckers.
Ultra Magnus shook up the status quo on the team, and but ultimately, as you've been seeing, has sort of inched towards learning how to mesh with the group and a new hand, and almost driving Wheeljack away, who then quickly returned to the fold as he is now growing to be part of the family, with RC having been the sort of the one who sort of imparted her wisdom that we've seen her gain. Bumblebee got a new paint job, among other things, and then let's see who we leave out. The villains, Starscream's back in the fold, and just when he's finally accepted his place in the universe as Megatron's second in command, Shockwave comes along to sort of upset that balance, and so we have the new sibling rivalry there. Soundwave. Soundwave, Bumblebee is not the only one who will speak. Soundwave already spoke, as you know. And let's see.
Knockout.
Knockout. Knockout is knockout. Oh my gosh, we got Silas left his mortal coil, but thanked Arachnid. We sort of released him from his torments. Arachnid's now a space vampire on one side of the continent. A lot has happened. Like when you break it all down like that, you know, it's kind of nuts. Miko like held her own against some Viacons in the Apex armor. Anyway, and so the story is about, and we brought some Energon back into the fold, and I think where we left things is, they wound up in the trunk. They finally got to go on their first date, which got a little upset along the way. Oh well.
Knockout's trunk.
Yes, thank you.
That just sounds wrong. That just sounds wrong.
You know, it was so wrong that it was right. The day we came up with that was a happy day. Predicane revealed that he's on the path to evolution and has figured out his sense of his own place in the universe. And
Just the fact that Dwayne can keep all that straight in his head is sort of amazing and a little obsessive compulsive.
the childhood memories. So if you saw last week's episode, we sort of ended things with Ratchet sort of being co-opted into the Decepticon fold and being persuaded to help finish the synthetic formula, which is going to lead to the creation of cyber matter that will allow them to cyberform Cybertron. Unfortunately, as well as Earth, and things are hanging in the balance right now. Please watch our thrilling next 2 episodes.
How many people think we're going to destroy Earth?
But that said, you know, and the amazing thing about Prime, I have to say, which we need to give a shout out to, just an amazing network who really supported this our vision of the show from the get-go, and but they put us to task, and they wanted to open big with the original 5-parter, Darkness Rising, and you know, when you open that big, where do you go from there? So I think the whole of Transformers Prime has been these just amazing, epic events, and then a little rest as we, you know, put things back into place, and then epic again, and like, you know, how far can we take it? So, you know, it goes without saying, the next 2 episodes are beyond epic, and then, but we still had threads that we wanted to wrap up and things that we wanted to do. So the movie Predacons Rising will be even more epic than our epic finale. Can you have too much epic? I don't know.
It's the epicest. Yeah, and I think, you know, when we set out, you know, at the very, very beginning to do Transformers Prime, I mean, we did it with that sort of everyone who loved Transformers growing up, whether it was G1 or Beast Wars or Beast Machines, had this love of Transformers, and we kind of wanted to try to tell the ultimate Transformers tale for anyone who's grown up with Transformers and loved it. And I think that...
But also for people who didn't.
Yeah.
The other side of the equation was we wanted to start over in some ways, to redo it in some ways, so people who hadn't grown up with the franchise yet, perhaps, or just didn't come to it, could come in and not feel like they were being, they're jumping in the middle of something they couldn't get.
Yeah, and that's why we kind of took some of the best elements from different versions over the course of time and put them all in this show in sort of a new, fresh way. And I think with Predacons Rising, you guys are going to see that we really tried to wrap things up in a satisfying way for everyone who loved Transformers again or for the first time. And actually with that, for all of you guys out there that love Transformers again or for the first time, why don't we open it up to some questions? And I do know that we have a very special guest who's going to ask the first question, Francie.
I was wondering, are you guys going to ever bring back the Dinobots to the new series?
Well, since I'll take this one. Since Transformers Prime is wrapping up with Predacons Rising, there wasn't any space to put the Dinobots in this show because we had the Predacons and we wanted to get new Predacons in there. But as we discuss things that are going to happen beyond in the future, that's definitely something that we would all love to do at some point.
there had been a season 4, would you have brought Ironhide in?
Yeah, I think we probably would have.
Will Hasbro continue making Prime Transformers? Or will they continue the line? So, will you be adapting the G1 characters as for vehicle modes and stuff in the current Prime line?
The current, we have the Prime Peace Centers line that's out there right now through the end of the year and into as we go into spring next year. Stay around for the panel after this. We can get some products to show. Obviously, we have publicly known in Transformers 4 be coming out in June of next year, end of June. So right now, the plan we have is with Prime to go through the spring, and we'll see where else we can go from there. You're welcome.
Hi, I have 2 questions as well. The first is, was it always planned to be a 3-series show? I mean, back in season 1, did you know it was going to be ending season 3?
For whatever reason, it seems like whenever we develop a show, we sort of plan for 3 seasons. I'm not quite sure why, because obviously some shows don't go that long and some go longer. So we always had at least 3 seasons worth of story in our heads. But no, we weren't exactly sure whether we'd end up with the 4th season or not. When we did find out, we wanted to make sure that the nice thing was we found out early enough that we could actually tie up loose ends. The worst thing is when they tell you you're too late and you kind of have to just jam some stuff together and you feel really unsatisfied. At least for us, we feel pretty satisfied that we're able to tie up loose ends. You'll obviously tell us whether you feel the same way.
Yeah. And also, I'm from Australia, and we can't get Region 1, it's Region 4 DVDs of Prime. You just can't get them.
Finn. See, look at that. Looks so comfortable.
It's like this and the rescue box. It's like we just can't buy it, and it's like I need it, but you can't get it. So yeah, that's just thanks.
Hi. When and will the Predacon? Do you have a specific date for when Predacons Rising will be airing?
Predacons will rise soon. No. There's Hasbro people placed all over here. I'm trying to see what I can say. It's coming soon.
Hey guys. I know with this show ending, I've already been reading that there's been talk and development for a new show with about the same team, from what I gather. I also know that Hasbro has been really pushing for this sort of aligned continuity of kind of going forward, trying to keep things better connected between the video games and the toy line and the TV show. So I guess my question is, if you can answer it, is there a plan for this to be another blank slate show, or is there plans to sort of make this tie-in or be part of the same continuity universe?
I don't know who you've been speaking to.
I planted every one of these.
But if Hasbro Studios was planning on continuing with another Transformers series post-Transformers Prime, and we have had any of those conversations, even if some things changed, it would make sense to have some things remain the same and continue. But I can neither confirm nor deny that we are ever saying that at all. And I know that the head of the Transformers brand likes the word alignment a lot. Can I say those things? Because I already did.
Okay, so my question does kind of dovetail with the last one about the new series that may or may not be coming, and I'm sure this will probably be can't confirm or deny. But I know the CGI is incredibly beautiful, and the fight scenes in the last few episodes have been downright gorgeous. But has there been any talk of perhaps going a 2D route so we can expand the locales and expand the core cast members, and we can get some more cameos perhaps?
No, seriously, every one of these is a plant. I'm not going
If we were talking about doing another Transformers we do realize that Transformers Prime looks so pretty, and we would really try and top ourselves with doing new and different things, and maybe that would be something we would discuss.
I would say that, we can take it further and say we, being fans ourselves, are well aware of some of the limitations of an all-CG show, and perhaps internally we would discuss doing some kind of hybrid or something, so we had more opportunity for more characters.
I mean, if we ever had this conversation.
And just some of the rescue bots is incredibly beautiful. Maybe we want to look at that style.
Rescue Bot shout out,
I'll go Rescue Bot's love, thank you.
I hope I'm not a plant.
You wouldn't know.
I hope I have a job after this panel, so.
But growing up with Transformers, I really liked in Prime. Am I close enough to the microphone? I like in Prime how you've been bringing in like the classic characters from G1 and saying like the Terracons, the Predacons, like the old names from the classic shows. Was there ever anything from the older series that you guys wanted to put in Prime, like Headmasters or Combiners or anything like that, that never made it into the show due to complications or just limitations?
Yeah, absolutely. There was a wish list, not quite a mile long, but for instance, is one of our original plans was to bring in more records part of season 3, and at the end of the day, because of the limitations, there were just things we couldn't do. But that said, in some ways it was always a blessing in disguise because as much as we wanted to bring in other characters, there was obviously still so much story to tell with the characters that we had, and just sort of like recombining and watching them rebuild, break down and rebuild their own interrelationships. In a way, I really enjoyed working within those limitations, and I feel that it really brings you closer, brought us closer to our core cast members, and even within the characters that we had, there were some that we would have wanted to give more screen time too. So for me, it was a blessing in disguise.
Why don't you tell them? Tell them about what you wanted to do with C-Spray. Talk about C-Spray.
Okay, here's the pitch. I guess we can talk about this now. But, we had a great idea for C-Spray. We're going to reveal it.
They'll be the judge of that.
Well, yeah. So we're going to reveal that he was actually not killed in episode 8 in season 1. That he had managed to jettison off the ship. Finally makes his way back to Earth. It was going to be during the 4-parter, and when the Autobots were scattered to the winds, it was the Wreckers who were going to, who would finally answer the call and would show up. But anyway, the notion that C-Spray, despite his what his name sort of evokes, was going to be like this really sort of badass, Quint-like character, who, really salty, but sort of a Batman-esque, before he attacks, the lights always go out, and he's got this weird nautical whistle that actually springs fear. It's in the hearts of the Decepticons, and we were just, again, despite counter to his name, make him the baddest of the Wreckers. So we never got there, sadly, but maybe one day.
So I'm never going to see.
By the way, if Predacons Rising, if you guys watch it and you like it, maybe you buy some DVDs, maybe we get a chance to do more things.
There's always a good start.
Kickstarter campaigns as well.
One quick thing, a friend of mine, he wanted me to ask, was killing Miko ever a possibility? He can't
You want Miko dead? This guy back here wants Raph. Yes. What is with you people?
My friend wants her dead. He wants to know if it's ever a possibility.
I thought Comic-Con was about love and acceptance. Why the hate?
Miko power. We love Miko. We stand by her.
And she's by far the Japanese studio's favorite character. As we said before, we send Miko walks across the room and we get back and Miko does a triple flip. Gets swings on a lamp, comes down. They love her.
I'm very happy about Transformers Prime being released at the end of 2010. I love the visual effects and I'm very happy for the movie to be coming out. So, I have a question. Will Hasbro upgrade the Transformers toys for Predacons Rising, or will they add new ones?
We will have for Predacons Rising?
Yes.
There'll be, in the U.S., there's a merchandising program at Target, so you'll be able to get, there's a full line of toys for the Predacons Rising product. And if you come down, we'll be showing them in the panel afterwards, and we also have them down in the booth on display.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi. For the season 1 DVDs, I know that you have all the commentaries and all the, interviews, but in season 2, there's none. There's no commentaries or interviews for the episodes, and I'm wondering why did you not do that?
Matt?
Just wait for season 3.
There you go. Just wait for season 3.
Okay.
I just like you guys all. Everyone's so caught. Hey, Eric. Hey, Matt. Hey, Julie.
It's actually not giving away. We just recorded some voiceover for the first 4 episodes of season 3.
First of all, let me congratulate you on the verbal equivalent of Neo dodging bullets up there.
Thank you. I'm gonna keep that.
That was very impressive. I can always see the after. I want to ask you this: what was the biggest challenge, production and storytelling-wise, that you felt you met and that you did not meet for whatever reason?
Ooh, good question.
And I don't know if that includes sea spray or.
I think probably working more regularly, at least for me, story-wise, I think the records was the thing that we didn't get to do because we didn't have room in the final season, and it was the thing that we saved for the final season for story reasons. It's like we didn't want to bring them in until that they were at the lowest of the level. I think for me that was really it. Honestly, everything else we've gone in. The 13 just wound up being a little short. There was one moment where at the last minute we literally, with virtually all 13 episodes written, we had to rejigger some things and recombine just to get it all to fit. Like a 14th episode would have been nice, but then at the end of the day, whatever we didn't get to cover, we covered it in the movie event. So it all worked out.
Individual standpoint.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure how to answer that because as an artist and most of the crew, it's like having those constraints actually makes you more creative. Coming out and say, "Oh, I did great," we went to some metropolis and having destroying buildings. But that being said, because we couldn't, I think Wayne and his team just wrote incredible stories that were really compelling, and as epic as some of those other things we did, I have no regrets. I loved absolutely everything we've done, how we did it, and how we made it work.
I would have maybe liked to have been in a canyon a little less often.
Yeah. Metropolis being nice. I love getting red paint and blue paint when somebody say, make it look like green. There's something fun about that.
All you Migo haters would be very pleased to know we were actually going to do a whole episode where we sent them to Tokyo and we're going to meet Miko's parents. So just be glad we didn't go there.
And we actually never saw Raph's family either. We had storylines with Raph's family too. We never.
Yeah,
we teased it out.
No, she was always on there.
But again, the creative use of working within limitations, and in a weird way, I feel like not in a weird way, but it just makes everything feel that much more organic. So, very, very few regrets.
But one of the things about CG is, again, you are limited in sort of builds you can do and all that. So the writers would be off thinking in the most grandest sense, but we would then be going back and forth on what do we actually already have? How can we repurpose it? Can we throw a different texture on this and make it a different location? Can we change the color? So we had to write toward what we had and what we're capable of doing,
right?
Which should be limiting, but in a way actually makes you dig in deeper to what you have.
Right, which is what the point of asking that. Which is why I was asking the challenges you met, that you felt you best met, and when you couldn't meet.
I'm going to speak up for you guys because I think the Predacon itself is something that I was like, I don't think they can pull this off. This is going to be, when they were like, okay, we're going to put a giant dragon beast in the show, and then we're like, all right, let's figure this out. And I think the first time I saw even like the test for Polygon on Predator King walking, I was like, oh, they pulled this off. That thing has so many moving pieces, and like they were saying, just figuring out how to get the talents to work, and it was a feat of CG, artistry, and engineering.
Or even the idea, if you'd watch, it's not simply that it breathes fire out of its mouth, sort of.
Yeah, it's got a.
It actually builds up here, so that's Dave and his team. They wanted to make it different than just a fire effect out of the mouth, and it makes it different.
All right, well, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, speaking of 13, mine's more of a comment than a question. But I know that a lot of people, myself included, were extremely excited to see them even appear in silhouette at the end of season 1, that whole passing glance. And I would like to comment regarding the discussions you may or may not have or may have in the future to bring them up, because I know even with the Confident coming out that we'll have some information about them, the excitement is still there, and it would be really great to delve deeper into the history and the true lore of them.
That would be really great.
I know, right?
All right. Not even going to try and answer it. That's good.
So I guess build limitations would be why you went with the remold Ultra Magnus toy rather than the original mold Ultra Magnus toy in the show?
Yeah, Ultra Magnus is actually a bit of a redo.
Yeah, because there were two Ultra Magnus toys, and I gotta admit, I like the original mold better than the primary mold, so it would have been a cool model to see in the show. But now, then 2 questions.
You also want to see Raph dead.
I did. I totally did through season 1, and I will say in season 2 and season 3, he's much less annoying. I don't.
Maybe you just opened your heart.
I know. I don't feel the urge to see him dead as much anymore, and I well done on the rating. Yes. So, 2 questions though. Are the Viacons, are they drones or are they individuals? It's sort of been hinted at both.
We actually tried to suggest, perhaps a little too subtly, that they are clones.
Okay.
In the episode 10, I believe, the Starscream clone episode, because when Starscream goes into the lab that he finds and finds the clone protoforms.
Right.
If you notice, the faceplates are very similar to the Viacons. They're mono-eyed, and that was our little suggestion that this is how Viacons are birthed. But again, it was a little on the subtle side.
But then you see them talking in the halls.
Right. And then the other story I would have liked to see, and maybe in the show that you may or may not be talking about, Knockout. Seems like he's got a really interesting backstory because he's a narcissist and a psycho and a sadist, but he's also a doctor, which means on some level he values life and saves life, so how the heck did he wind up with Megatron's crew? So,
I think the hub is really looking for a narcissist, sadist, it's kind of like Transformers Dexter, right? So, we can make that happen.
Yeah, that was actually very close to our original.
We didn't say a doctor of what, though. We could be a doctor of art history.
That's true.
Doctor of automotive history.
Yeah. He's a doctor, he's a ninja. You never know. So I was going to say, if there is kind in some other storytelling medium, which may or may not exist, seeing Knockout's backstory would be something that I think would be really cool.
One of the things that we've all been trying to do more of is the comic books. I don't know if you've been keeping up with
Yeah,
those.
absolutely.
Are trying to actually give some more backstory to some of the things we couldn't do in series. And actually, I think both the writers of those, I think Margaret Scott and Mike Johnson are both here. The hope is that we continue doing more comic books that actually align with our.
Very cool, because I know in the show, and I guess more generally, the Autobots almost all got backstories. The Decepticons were just sort of there as a presence other than Megatron. It would be nice to see how they became who they are. So,
Thanks.
Since the subject of the Dinobots was brought up earlier, I was just wondering, in the video game and comic book tie-in, Slag's name was changed to Slug, and I was wondering why.
Wild?
This is a very interactive panel today. Congratulations to everybody. This is great.
Hey guys, I got a question. Was there anything that you guys were gonna do, and maybe even actually went through and animated it, that like Hasbro stepped in and said, "You're not gonna do that," like something controversial, like, or maybe like killing off a character or something that would be, I guess, kid friendly?
You know, they let us kill Cliffjumper in the pilot.
No, yeah, I know that.
Set a tone. Again, from a production standpoint, and I've used this analogy before, so I apologize, but we are like the Native Americans with the buffalo. We use every piece of everything we have. So there actually is no additional footage. I mean, when we put together the DVDs, one of the questions that always gets asked is, do you have additional footage we can add back into it? And the answer is, we may have a random shot or extra pieces of shots, but we never got as far as animating anything that hadn't kind of been run off the flagpole and proved all along the way, because we were so limited in how much footage we could have.
Was there a thought of doing something in the storyline that Hasbro? I know.
Every day is there are always discussions, creative arguments, compromises. Certainly nothing that we've carried with us because anything that might have been brought up and said no to for whatever reason, we always wound up coming up. We jointly, us, Hasbro, and/or the Hub, coming up with a creative solution that satisfied all. So.
And honestly, we have to be careful. We don't want to contradict what's going on in the next movie, perhaps, or the video game. So there's something maybe where we would come at something a different way, but they had already committed in some other iteration. And so we had to make sure that we didn't contradict that.
Yeah, but one last thing. Is there anything that you did that perhaps when it made it to TV that was I know you don't have additional footage or anything, that was edited out? Did it go through somebody else's hands that they may have cut out too much of the use of the word blood or something like that? Because I know they've done that with Dragon Ball Z. It's been chopped out. Anything that you guys...
Nothing extreme, but most of it honestly is self-censorship. I mean, we'd be like, oh, that's a little strong. Let's trim some frames, that kind of thing.
Or in script, maybe can we use the word die a few less times or something like that. But nothing. Seriously, I mean, it's sort of and part of that is a lot of us are parents and we did want this show. Look, obviously it's not meant for 4 and 5 years. We wanted it to appeal to 6, 7, 8, 9. So we wanted to be pretty careful about not going too far.
3 heads is 1 head too much.
Yeah. So 6, 7, 8, 9, and 35 is our age demo. But again, another shout out to the Hub and their fantastic broadcast standards and practices department, who we know that there's strong stuff in the show, but we really try to make sure it was never just for the sake of
everything, we tried to make everything from emotional place and have actual repercussions.
We're saving that for the knockout show.
When we kill a character, there's emotional repercussions rather than just, if we kill in the 3-second scene, then nobody ever talks about it.
Thanks. All right, I think we only have a couple of seconds left, so let's get you both in there really quick.
Why didn't the Decepticon Space Cruiser have a name? It really stands out that everyone always calls it the Decepticon Space Cruiser, especially since other ships have names like Wheeljackets.
You mean the Nemesis, the warship?
Yes.
Yeah.
It gets referred to as the Decepticon Cruiser instead of the Nemesis.
There were reasons, and at first we thought there were reasons we didn't think we could use the name or that it wasn't appropriate, and we just wound up calling it the warship. It did slip in one episode for you who were into trivia. Which episode was it?
Which episode was it?
I believe it was 15. Wild.
We love her.
211. Thank you.
How you doing? Just wondering, you were speaking about your re-envisioning of the names, so taking Predaking and making it something new. I was wondering why you decided to take, say, Wheeljack or Smokescreen, names from the G1 series, and take different personas to them when you could have been taking, say, Hot Rod or Ironhide or something like that to fill those roles.
Each was an individual case, and there were a variety of reasons. In the case of Wheeljack, we actually had a conception of a character, and we asked Hasbro to supply us with an appropriate name, and they gave us Wheeljack, and we liked it. But I think his engineering capabilities, we gradually were able to work in the series, but we never envisioned him as a scientist, as maybe G1 played him, for instance. And in the case of Predaking, we weren't looking just to reinvent. I mean, part of it was that he came into the storyline late when things were already up and running, so it was how can we honor the original lore and at the same time seamlessly work this concept into the version of the lore that we created. So, it's choices all over the map, and ultimately it was, staying true to the lore, but while also creating the most satisfying story in the present.
Thank you.
Before you say that, just a little shout out, we have a few people who came down from LA. So I know Mandy Safavi is here, Therese Trujillo is here, Vince Toyama is here, Matthias Dougherty is here. Who else? Is there else? Walter Guinness is here. So a quick hand for them, please.
guys so much for watching. There you go. So tune in tomorrow, tune in next week, and tune in soon for Predacons Rising, and stay in your seats for the awesome Transformers toy panel coming up right after this commercial break.